as Senator from Florida, Marco Rubio. Took a lot of opportunities to blast President Obama making his case in last night's debate. The senator with me now here in studio. Studio, we call it here at the Embassy Suites.
Big studio.
How you doing? Nice to see you. Good morning.
Good morning.
You are fresh, I'm certain. How did last night go, do you think?
Well, we felt good. It was just another chance, especially the last chance, to talk to this big an audience here in Iowa. So on Monday evening, 7 p.m. Central, the people of Iowa are going to go to their caucus site, and they're going to be the first Americans that begin to answer the question of what comes next for America after Barack Obama. So last night was the last chance to talk to all of them at once, and I'm grateful for that opportunity.
It wasn't quite a closing argument. That'll come Sunday night in all likelihood, and again Monday. But you and Jeb Bush, back and forth in immigration, part of that exchange now, and I'll get you to respond to this.
At the time and the context of that was in 2009 and 2010, where the last effort for legalization was an effort done in the Senate. It was an effort led by several people that provided almost an instant path with very little obstacles moving forward. What I've always said is this issue does need to be solved.
Well, I'm kind of confused because he was the sponsor of the Gang of Eight bill that did require a bunch of thresholds, but it ultimately allowed for citizenship over an extended period of time. I mean, that's a fact. And he asked me to support that. And I supported him. And then he cut and run because it wasn't popular amongst conservatives, I guess.
And that last point, saying you cut and run because it wasn't politically popular.
Yeah, well, he just admitted he was confused. He is confused because the issue here is not the bill. That bill can't pass. There is no support in America for a comprehensive approach. Presidents should not be ramming down the throat of the American people ideas they do not want or support. That's what this president has done with not one, but two illegal and unconstitutional executive orders. This issue about what do you do with the people that are in this country illegally, I've already said we're not going to round up and deport 12 million people. We'll see what the American people are willing to support. This is a very reasonable country, a very compassionate country. Nothing is going to happen on immigration until illegal immigration is brought under control.
You hinted at that last night. Well, why not just be more transparent about that?
Well, how much more transparent can you be?
I changed my mind, and Governor Bush, you've changed your mind.
But it's not about...
There was a note of that last night. Be more obvious about it would likely go a longer way.
Well, but it is obvious. I mean, the bottom line is it's not about changing your mind. That approach has no chance of passing. Why are we going to continue to bang our head against a wall on an issue on an approach that has zero chance of passage? You are not going to pass a comprehensive approach. It's been attempted now 5 times. And I think it's harder to do it today than ever. You've had 2 migratory crises, 2 unconstitutional executive orders. My point is that this notion that I guess Jeb Bush supports, that it's either comprehensive or nothing at all, that's the approach the Democrats are trying to ram down our throat. That's a false choice. I think this has to be solved by doing enforcement first, and then I think people will be very reasonable, but not until then.
Your strategy last night, was it to go make this contrast with Jeb Bush, or was it to make a contrast with Ted Cruz?
Well, it really wasn't about either one of them. It was about a chance to answer questions so people could see and they'll learn what I would do when I'm president of the United States. Obviously, there are times where, a conflict came up with one candidate or another, and we discussed those. When it comes to Ted, he's kind of built this campaign on this false notion that he is the only true conservative and everyone else is an apostate. That's absurd. I mean, Ted on immigration used to support legalizing people that were here illegally and did so for a long time. I mean, he helped design George W. Bush's immigration approach, which had a path to citizenship, actually. So this is a complicated issue on immigration. Everybody on that stage has dealt with it in different ways at different times because it's a complex issue. But I know how we're going to deal with it. We are going to enforce our immigration law.
And it seemed to be the hottest topic last night, frankly, in the mix-up back and forth. You also brought up Gitmo several times. You can be president, but this president wants to close Gitmo. If it's not there, if it's not open, what do you do?
Well, he doesn't have the power to close it. What he has the power to do is empty it, and that's what he's doing now. And there will still be a facility there, but there won't be anybody in it. Congress has not given them the authority to close it. When I'm president, we're going to send people there. If we capture terrorists alive, they're going to Guantanamo. They're not going to get a Miranda rights or assign a lawyer or go to a courtroom in Manhattan. They will be sent to Guantanamo, and we are going to find out everything they know.
Today, 3.5 days before the caucus, where's your campaign? Where do you think you honestly stand in Iowa today?
We feel good, and I think we're growing in our support here, and I feel very positive about it. Obviously, Ted Cruz would be the front runner. I mean, he spent basically all his money in Iowa.
Ted Cruz?
Sure. I mean, he spent all his money in Iowa. He's built, as he has called, a historic ground game. He says he has 10,000 volunteers. He's got all these people that have signed on to his campaign. So he's put a lot of time and effort here. And, and obviously it's a place that he thinks is very important to him. And it is important to us as well. And so we're working hard, and we'll see how far we can get. We feel very good about it. We feel very positive
Just
about
to be
our campaign.
clear, you said Ted Cruz is the front runner.
In Iowa.
Not Donald Trump.
Well, Donald hasn't spent as much time here as Ted. And Ted, as I said, has put a lot of money into Iowa and a lot of people into Iowa. And I'm just going off what Ted Cruz's campaign was saying a few weeks ago. They basically were arguing in December that the game was over and that they had won in Iowa. So obviously we'll see Monday night.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Will you take a third place? Would you be happy?
We want to get as many votes as we can. As soon as we're done in Iowa, we're going to New Hampshire and South Carolina and Nevada. So this is a long process, but we feel really good about Iowa.
Senator, thank you for your time today. We'll see you on the road. Marco Rubio, thanks.